Hi guys, we'll be going to talk about what's happening in the cryptocurrency space today. It's looking really red, and I hope with this video I'm going to be able to ease your nerves and answer some questions that you've got, so that you maybe panic a little bit less and do less irrational decisions in the market, especially with such days like today. So if you're a little bit worried, hopefully this video is going to help you. So make sure that everything is set up. And do let me know in the chat where you're tuning in from. I haven't done one of these live streams in a while. And tell me, how are you surviving this day? If you're new to the cryptocurrency space, this must definitely be quite painful seeing your profits drop 20, 30, 40%, depending on what kind of cryptocurrencies you're holding. So this is looking really, really good. Let me fix this quickly. Awesome. So I'm going to wait a few minutes for people to tune in, and then I'll look at the different charts, and you can also put some suggestions that you'd like me to review, some coins you'd like me to look at, and I'll give you maybe my opinion on the current state of the market. And Mont Green, Aussie here, a concerned one. Do let me know when you got into the market, what coins you bought, and approximately which price. And hopefully this video will help you ease the suffering that you're going through and help you realize that we're all in it for the long term. So especially for people that are newer to the cryptocurrency space, such dips can be really violent. And as time goes on, you manage to develop a tougher skin and weather these dips a lot. While BTC went below 36k but bounced. Yeah, we'll be looking at the BTC chart, the Ethereum chart, Cardano. We'll maybe be looking at other altcoins and see where the support lines are. And I'll also be sharing with you why I think now is the worst time to sell. And if you haven't already, I do highly recommend that you watch my take profit videos, because they will actually go on to how you actually take profit in the bull market if you haven't already done that. And yeah, it's very often on the days where you see these red candles that the emotions start to take control of your decisions, and you want to go on to buy and sell everything, and you sell at a loss. Yeah. Shane, Painful Dude, tuning in from Missouri. Welcome to the show. Glad to have you here today. And it's looking like we're bouncing pretty well. I can't really say now for sure if this is going to be the end of the dip, but there are some target levels that I'm looking at for BTC and for ETH and so on. I've got a long position open for ETH. I'm still a little bit in the negative for that, but I'm not worried too much. So BTC 27k, 29k is the next support, which will probably hit this weekend. Well, I'm on the weekly time frame here for BTC USD, and I'm using the Fibonacci Retracement, which is a pretty useful tool, as well as the Ichimoku Cloud, to find some support levels. So we peaked for BTC at around 64,000. And the blue line is the first support level. We broke below that, 46,000 today. And the second support line is 35,000. As you can see here, there's a wick forming, which is a very, very lovely bounce. I'd like to see that. So what I want to see for BTC is at the end of the day or at the end of the week, we're actually going to close above this red line. This is definitely going to be pretty good. If we close above this support line, that's going to be good. I'm going to look at the daily charts in a bit. But weekly is definitely a really good indicator and tool to see how the market is going to move in the next 1, 2, 3 weeks and even 2, 3 months. So it's possible that we'll move sideways in the next few months, depending whether or not we actually manage to stay above this red line. So that would be the 35,000. If we manage to stay above this red line on the weekly, I do see BTC trading between 35,000 and 46,000 for the next 1 month or so. 27,000 to 29,000 is going to be pretty low, but yeah, I would not really sure if it's going to go that low. If I look on the 1 month, this is also the Fibonacci retracement, and very often it could actually hit one of these levels. So here it's actually bouncing off of the 50% level, which is 37,000, but it is possible that it drops all the way down to $30,536. Of course, it's not an exact science, but that would be a pretty likelihood in the next 1 or 2 weeks that we have a short dip down there for BTC USD. But yeah, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. I might talk a little bit about the psychology of these markets and how maybe to better weather such drops, especially if you're new. And I think like reading about the technology and looking at the state of the current economy is for me enough of a motivator to stay in the markets. I mean, the thing is, like, of course, if you got into the market in the last week, last month, and so on, and you're down 30%, it's definitely nothing that I'm going to say is going to make you feel any better. I just want to give you this, and that is doing nothing during these times of weakness in the market is probably the best course of action for you. Not pressing that sell button, actually going out, doing other stuff, spending time with your family, friends, forgetting that crypto exists for the next few weeks is probably better than keeping staring on the charts, because doing nothing is probably the best course of action, especially after such a drop. The current price drop, I think, is at 35%. So you have to think about like that. It's not really much different to back in February. Like at the moment, the price is same as on the 1st of February 2021, and everyone was like ecstatic with the price reaching 38,000. But now with the price reaching 38,000, because they've got in their mind the previous price, or they bought a lot higher, they're filled with fear. So it's pretty interesting. Like if you think back of it, 1st of December 2020, we were down like at 22,000. 1st of November at 17,000. Now, of course, this is not a big help for people that got in the last month, but you don't get rich overnight with cryptocurrency, and the massive gains that people can get in the market is only by weathering these drops. In my opinion, the bull run still has a lot of power to go way higher. And the only way that you're going to manage to get these gains, and it might not be in the next 2 months, it might not be in the next 3 or 4 months, but it might be in the next year or the next 2 years, the next 5 years. So if you think about it, and you also abide by the rules of only investing like what you're willing to lose and not going into debt and stuff like that, then it's actually a pretty safe bet in my opinion, especially if you look at the inflation that is happening around the world. I think in the US, you've got like around 4% inflation rate that is predicted for the next 1 or 2 years. So think about that. What would you do with your money if it isn't putting it in crypto? Not financial advice, by the way. So let's look at some of the comments. I'm in Berlin today. It's not very fun. Yeah, I understand. Just sit on your hands. Don't do anything. Don't worry. I haven't sold. I did sell a little bit, but that was just because I had to get some money for a camper, because we bought a camper and so on. But what I recommend that you do, if you haven't already done that, is set sell orders, because you want to sell the peaks, and it doesn't always mean that you're selling like the extreme top, but if you've got an exit strategy, you will be selling at different key levels. So maybe you might be selling a little bit at 50,000 or 60,000 and so on, instead of actually selling when it starts dropping, because when it starts dropping, everyone is going to start panicking and the price really drops down super fast. And selling then, yeah, it's probably one of the best decisions, because you're selling because of an emotions and not because of any technical reasons. I mean, Bitcoin still has the same values, ETH has the same values, and so on. Shane, Elon Musk is going to get some long-term hate if he's seen as a catalyst to the start of a bear market. I don't believe we're at the start of a bear market. And I mean, I understand that a lot of people look at Elon Musk as this savior and so on of crypto, and they were all very ecstatic when Elon Musk started buying Bitcoin. But in the end, he's only got a very small portion of the total amount of Bitcoin that is in the supply. I'm not sure how much. I think he's only got like 0.03% or something like that. So it's a very little amount. However, he's got a lot of power. He's got a lot of influence, and he can manipulate the markets by tweeting this or that. But in the end, the markets always move in cycles, and for every dip, people are looking for one reason or the other why this dip happened. But if you look at the charts, we've had massive amounts of upwards action for BTC, and having such a correction happen is just the nature of the cryptocurrency space. You cannot have these 1000% gains without having a 30 or 40% drop here or there. Now, there are always people that are going to be buying here, and they're going to have to wait and see how the market evolves. But in the end, if you think about 2017, anyone that bought in 2017, even if they bought at the peak, on a long enough time span, they'll be profitable. You just have to be patient. And these markets here, it's like the biggest barrier, or let's say challenge, that new cryptocurrency investors are going to have to go through. And this is where you've got this chasm where you've got basically the diamond hands, they go on the right, and the paper weak hands, they go on the left, and they exit everything. And they're like, yeah, basically relying on your emotions is the best way to not build any wealth in the cryptocurrency space, because if you start thinking about losing money and then actually acting upon that, it's going to be a very tough time for you. Let's have a look at ETH USD. Crypto gains, looked at history in some video a week ago. I also loved Rec Capital. You should have a shout out for good analysis. Cheers from Sweden. I'm actually subscribed to Rec Capital's newsletter. I think he's got fantastic analysis. I highly recommend looking at Rect Capital's stuff. There are a few ones that are pretty good. Maybe I can actually look at the Rect Capital. There's one article that I think is really good, showing why I believe that this is a pretty good year for the cryptocurrency market. I'm not sure if it's this one. Let me find it. It's basically showing that the yearly candles, we're actually in a year where we're going to have a massive candle. I'm not sure if it's this one here, but this Bitcoin here. So this is actually Bitcoin USD since 2012, with every candle representing one whole year. So you see you've got one candle represents like a bull run. So this would be the 1. Then you've got the bear market, which is the 2. You've got the accumulation phase, which is the 3, and then you start a new bull run with the first candle of the bull run just being like a little baby candle, and then you're gonna have a massive candle for the main bull run. And that's what is actually happening here with this 4-year cycle. And some people use the theory that the different market cycles have a length that is always increasing. So that would mean that this candle number 1 here is probably going to be a massive candle, making us maybe peak at 160 or 180,000. Would this be a good buy in time? I mean, like, of course, you have to like think about your finances and what you're willing to put into the market. It's definitely better to buy when the market drops 30% than buy when the market peaked 30%. So think about it like this: when there's fear in the market, it's normally the better time to buy than when you've just got green candles left and right. You get a nice discount on many different cryptocurrencies that you've been eyeing, because on the channel I get people that are like asking, is it a good time to buy now, and so on. But when you've got these massive red days, most people are asking if it's the best time to sell. So it should actually be the other way around. This is probably the better time to buy than when you've got the massive green candles. But yeah, Let's go back to the charts and let's clean all this stuff up. All right, let's have a look at the weekly again. So this is actually looking pretty good on the weekly. I definitely want a bounce above 35,000 for the week, and it's going to close in 4 days and 13 hours. It's possible that we have a bit more of downside action. Not really sure, but possibly on these support lines are pretty good entry zones. So we underneath this blue line, which is the resistance at the moment at 46,000. Let's have a look at ETH USD on Binance. And here it's actually looking pretty good. If we think about what we looked at before with BTC USD, we were looking at these lines here, which act as a support. And the support basically means it's an historical price level where the price of a certain asset is probably going to bounce off of. And now for ETH, it's looking pretty good. We're at this blue line, which means that the support at the moment is at $2,689. And as you can see here, if I zoom in a little bit, the price of ETH actually nearly touched this red line, which was another support of $2,382. Pretty crazy. Now, also here, I'd really like the price of ETH to close on the weekly above the $2,700 range. And that would be pretty good, because if we bounce off of that and we close above this level, then I'd see like the next candles being green candles going upwards. So let's have a look at some new stuff. Yes, I'm pretty familiar with the Bitcoin 4-year cycle. It's pretty awesome. I might make a longer video on that, but it's quite in depth for just this live stream. Thanks a lot for the support. Lady Taylor, this might be a good time for a beer or two or 5. Yes, if yeah, it's like that movie. Which one is it? You guys should go to the pub and wait for everything to blow over. What was that movie again? Is it not The Walking Dead? It was Walking Dead parody. Go to the pub, blow over. What was it? Yeah, it's this one here. Shaun of the Dead, that's exactly. So when everything is going array, just go to the pub, have a few pints, and wait for everything to blow over. If you haven't already seen Shaun of the Dead, I highly recommend that you watch this movie instead of watching cryptocurrency charts. So yeah. Yeah, definitely look at Shaun of the Dead. Pretty awesome zombie comedy if you haven't already looked at it. Well, yeah, you can't really go to the pub at the moment, but yeah, unfortunately in Germany the restrictions are probably a lot higher than in Switzerland. We can actually go to the pubs, but we can only like drink stuff outside. But I think in Germany the restrictions are pretty bad. Yeah, man, just like have a few beers at home. Yeah. I like to look at the BTC monthly relative strength index and look for patterns, also combining this with the long-term power law. Yeah, the relative strength index is pretty good. And I believe at the moment the relative strength index for BTC on the monthly, it's very similar to the one of the first dips that we saw in 2013. So let's have a quick look here back. ETH is bouncing off really nicely. Have a look at the daily. So on the daily, it's looking a bit bleaker, but we've got these support lines, which is this cloud here, but we're underneath the red one. So I'd really like for this to retrace back up towards $3,084. But yeah, we're gonna have to see how this candle closes. If it closes below the red line, it's possible that we dip even lower down towards probably 2,126. Yeah. Hi Kierin, what would you say is the best resource for general crypto news? I recommend using a Crypto Panic, even though I don't recommend panicking. The name is a bit yeah, I think it's not best name to keep people relaxed during the dips, but Crypto Panic is one of the best resources to get some cryptocurrency news. I'm not really sure why it's lagging. Probably a lot of people are using the website at the moment, so that's not so good. Not so good. Marky, hey, long time since there was a live. Yeah, that's definitely been a long time since I did a live stream. That's probably because I've been traveling quite a bit and mostly focusing on evergreen content. But yeah, I thought like with the current state of the markets, I think it might be a good time to do another live stream and hopefully ease some minds and hopefully a few people after this live stream don't panic sell and keep their gains or don't like incur any losses and so on. So hopefully that's going to happen. So yeah, crypto can't panic, but probably because everyone's panicking, they're using this website and it's lagging at the moment. But I do highly recommend cryptopanic.com. Yeah, the traveling was pretty awesome. We actually went around north of Italy next to Lago Maggiore with our camper. We've been like trying out the camper and seeing what we actually can change with the camper. The fridge is not working, so we're gonna have to probably replace the fridge, and we've got a little bit of problems with the electricity in the camper, like to charge our stuff like laptops and so on. But otherwise it's going pretty good. If you haven't already seen, I've posted 1 or 2 videos with our new drone. That's pretty awesome. We got a DJI Mini 2. So for those videos that are more of fundamentals and so on, I'll probably pepper them with a little bit of drone footage to make it a little bit more interesting. So let's have a look at some of the other coins. ADA, let's have a look at ADA. ADA had also quite a beating, but it's risen quite a lot in value. So I'm definitely not scared. I'm not frightened with the current state of the market, and I feel like you shouldn't be frightened as well. I feel like we're on track, even if we might have a few red days here and there. But as you can see, if you have already noticed, is that on my chart, I actually don't use any red or green candles. I actually use black and white candles, and the white candles represent like green bullish candles and the black ones are the red ones. And the reason for that is because when you use red candles and then you see like massive red candles, like red is a very aggressive color and it's like it just jumps up into you and it causes fear and so on. So in order to like reduce emotional impact of these candles on my mind, I actually use these black ones, and it helps a lot because it makes me actually look at the charts in a objective way without having my emotions take the better of me. Yeah, that drone is great. I have the same one as well as the FPV version. I'm actually eyeing the FPV version, but I shouldn't be splurging so much money. I used to fly FPV drones 2 or 3 years ago. I used to build some FPV racing drones, but I spent most time building and repairing them than actually flying them. So yeah, I've been eyeing the new FPV drone from DJI. It looks really nice, and maybe maybe with my next profits, I'll definitely be looking at that one. Rami, there's hi from Sweden. Hi, great to have you here on the show. If you've got any questions, do let me know what I should talk about. And if you want, I can talk a little bit more about the psychology of the markets. If you want me to give you like a bit of a meditation session so that you can feel a bit more relaxed and feel less stressed about these green candles, because in the end, like Makier said, you just have to zoom out a bit and think about it long term. There are many sayings like hodling, blah 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 and so on, but it's always really easy to say it, but when you actually experience it with your own portfolio, it's a bit tough. But it's not a joke. Time in the market always beats timing in the market. If you just stay in the market and you kind of like forget about cryptocurrency and so on, even though it's really difficult. And I mean, I always look at my charts, I look at coin market cap and so on. But these dips or corrections or crashes, if you want to call them like that, they don't impact me anymore. I don't really feel anything. I'm dead inside when I see them. Of course, I'm lucky that I got into the cryptocurrency space last year with most of the investments I've got now. I mean, I got in before, but most of my purchases happened when Bitcoin was very low, Cardano was very low, and so on. So I can bask in higher amounts of profit. And this is definitely not something that people can do if they've just entered into the market like in the last month or so and they got in at the top and now they're worrying that most of their profits or non-existent profits are gone and their position is down and so on. But it's just something you have to go through. And if you're not comfortable with this amount of risk, or then either you put too much money into the market, you followed the green candles, you FOMO'd in and so on. The second thing, if you believe in the cryptocurrency space and you believe in the idea that we're actually moving into a world of digital assets in the next 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, then these dips are nothing, like nothing at all. The cryptocurrency market is still incredibly small if you zoom out on the 5-year candles or 10-year candles, because first of all, if you understand what kind of value proposition the different cryptocurrencies can actually give you, and you just like forget a little bit about the price, because does it really matter when Bitcoin is maybe 150,000? Does it really matter if you buy at 30,000, 40,000, 50,000 for ETH? If it's at 10,000 or 15,000 or 20,000, does it really matter if you buy at 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000? I mean, it does make a little bit of a difference. But in the long run, profit is something that is easily achievable if you just sit on your hands and you don't do anything during these corrections. I mean, like if you look at it, there are many corrections along the way. The road for ADA to $10 is going to be bumpy. The road to 10K for ETH USD is going to be bumpy. You're going to have corrections all the way. I mean, like look at it here. Back in February, we had a correction that is probably as equally as violent as the one that we've got at the moment, and we survived that. And people actually sold all the way down here. And you might ask, all right, that's probably a silly thing to do. But now when you're actually experiencing something like that, you realize that it's actually pretty tough weathering these losses. But, I didn't want to do that. So yeah. So if we look at it like this on a long enough time frame, it will go up if you believe in the use cases behind it. In my opinion, Ethereum is very similar to an operating system, but it's way more than an operating system. It's like a whole ecosystem packaged like an operating system. And investing into Ethereum, for me, it's like investing into the internet. But back in 1990, I get this new opportunity to participate in a truly decentralized financial sector with nearly no like barriers to entry. And everyone here watching these videos, trying out the new DeFi stuff, you're extremely early. So don't let these dips, these small corrections, these crashes, even if they're massive on your portfolio, like 30%, 40%, wow, that is pretty violent, but don't let them discourage you from investing into the cryptocurrency long term. Make this correction a lesson for you, and think about a few things like, did you put too much money into the market? Did you forget to dollar cost average? Did you FOMO because you heard this person or that person made already 5x gains, 10x gains, and so on? So yeah, zoom out. When in doubt, zoom out. That's the best motto. When in doubt, zoom out and look at it long term. Close your cryptocurrency apps, close your alerts and stuff like that, and go outside and yeah, have fun, enjoy life, do stuff that you love. Not everything surrounds crypto and gains and profits. And in the end, if you make like 20 or 30% profits in 1 year, you're probably doing better than the whole traditional financial space. The other thing is that the cryptocurrency markets are massively manipulated. You've got whales that just know that creating articles left and right with FUD that might be like Elon Musk FUD, that might be China ban FUD, that might be USDT tether FUD, or whatever kind of FUD there is. And a lot of articles will pop up on different social media sites, and they will incite fear. And you read one article and you read another article, and then you get into this kind of mind spiral where you believe the whole cryptocurrency space is going to zero, or Bitcoin is going to zero, and everything like that. And then in the end you start selling, and then you realize you sold at the bottom of the dip. You got shaken out. And this is something that I definitely do not want to happen to you. Yeah, that's about it. What is your opinion of how Orient Protocol and Cardano will respond to this correction? Well, Cardano is probably heading towards the next all-time highs after this correction. There's a lot of new updates happening to the Cardano blockchain. I'm especially looking forward to July, August of this year. But as we can see here, Cardano was a very long time in this channel here, and this actually acts now as a very strong support. And we just dropped on the daily very shortly into this channel, but as you can see, it was bought up. Now it's possible that it drops even lower, but in the end, that is just something that you have to accept. The cryptocurrency space is volatile. It's nothing is certain. It's always important to take profit along the way, especially if you got into the market just recently. Make sure you've got an exit plan. Make sure you know where you're actually going to start selling your cryptocurrencies. Are you going to sell at 2x, 5x, 10x or something like that? Pick something realistically and sell on the way up. And that will help you also deal with the emotions as soon as we get a correction. Because if you manage to sell maybe 10% at the top here, then you'll feel less bad about a correction. You feel like, wow, that's pretty awesome. I actually managed to sell a bit. So make sure that you actually have a crypto exit strategy in place. Late Taylor, even with this crappy crash, I've still made 3x that I put in, and I just started last year. That's fantastic, and that's really awesome. And I feel like anyone that if you haven't made money since the beginning of the year, then you're probably doing something wrong in crypto at the moment. You're actually relying on your emotions. You're doing too many trades. You're like chasing shitcoin after shitcoin, 1000x gems and so on, because most coins have done a 5x or 10x or and so on, and most of them have been extremely profitable. So yeah, if you're losing money since the beginning of the year, I would say like since January, then you've done something extremely wrong. I just recommend like maybe looking at your strategy and thinking about what could actually be wrong, and then maybe making a new plan on how you actually want to approach the cryptocurrency space. So let's have a look at how many people are watching, and do make sure to leave a like. It helps out these videos. And yeah, the more likes I get, the more likely I'll be actually making some more live streams. Unfortunately, I will only be able to make live streams probably with my computer until July, because we actually we're how do you say it? We're quitting our flat. Like we're giving our flat up, and then we'll be traveling around Europe with our camper van for 4 months. And then afterwards, we'll go wherever our plans take us, probably like Thailand, Indonesia, Philippines, South America. And I'll be making the videos from my travels. But yeah, it's always depending on if I've got a very good internet connection. Then I'll do the live streams. But yeah. Gunther, hi Kierin. Hi there. Happy you made it to the stream. Hi Carolyn. Happy you also made it. Hopefully you guys are also waking up and not really selling into the fear in the markets. There's an unfortunate way to figure out if you're actually at the bottom of a dip, and that is if you go into many different social media outlets, Reddit, Twitter, and so on. Some people start posting like suicide helpline warnings and stuff like that. Then that has been a very good indicator that we are very close to being at the bottom. Why Munta and Dream Life? Safe travels and do visit Malaysia. Malaysia is on my list. I've actually already been to Malaysia, where we went diving there in 2018. Really awesome. Loved it. Loved it. Nick, what are we buying this dip? Well, I actually went into a long position on ETH. But yeah, apart from that, haven't really bought that much. I'm mostly invested into new Cardano projects, thanks to Cardstarter, and those are performing really, really well. I'm already like mind blown at how well they're performing. Yeah, Indonesia. Looking forward to Indonesia. I've seen a lot of videos, heard a lot of stuff about Indonesia. Looking forward to going there. Hopefully, it's going to be possible with the pandemic. We're actually getting vaccinated, hopefully soon. We are like at the end of the list of people to get vaccinated in Switzerland, but it's looking pretty promising that we might be able to get vaccinated before we actually leave. John Doe, bear market, no doubt. Yes, definitely. FOMO, fear. Blah. Nick Diaco, what Cardano projects? How can I find these? There's a bit of an issue with these projects, and that is you have to have the cards tokens, and they're quite expensive. But basically, what I'm doing is I'm investing into Cardstarter. I made a video about it. And there, in order to get a guaranteed allocation, you have to like buy a lot of cards. I think you have to buy around 1,500 cards to get the first guaranteed allocation. But it's really, really lucrative. The last project that I invested into was Giro Wallet, Giro. This one here. It dropped a little bit, but from my initial buying price, I think this went up, I think 80 or 90x. Yeah. So I put in $200 into this IDO here, and I got 26,000 tokens. So at the current price, that's a pretty good 26,000 times 0.64. Yeah, I think yesterday when I sold, it was worth $26,000, and I sold 50%. But yeah, that's from a $200 IDO allocation. I made $16,640. Unfortunately, with Cardstarter, is that you have to get into the guaranteed allocation, you have to put in a lot of money. Luckily, I got in way earlier, so I didn't have to put that much money. But you have to actually get into at least Jack's 1,500 for the guaranteed allocation, and that's around 100k at the moment, if I'm not mistaken. And Queens is a lot more. That's like 200k or something. But the return on investment is definitely really, really high. But you have to put like a massive amount of cards into the Cardstarter in order to get these guaranteed allocations. But yeah, it is what it is. It's like being a venture capitalist with a lot lower amount of funds than if you would like be investing into seed funds where you already need like 500k or 100k or and so on. Yeah. So it's definitely high risk. When I actually invested into Cardstarter, I think I put 60k into Cardstarter, and it dropped 50%. So in a matter of 1 or 2 days, I lost 50% of my investment. It dropped down to 30,000. But luckily, it actually went back up, and I'm back in the green. But it definitely was a really, really risky play, and it paid out for me. Yeah. Thanks a lot. So I do actually post some of the videos. I actually posted about Cardstarter back a while ago on my channel. But yeah, it dropped quite a lot after, and then now it recovered. What is it? It was, which video was it? So many videos. Yeah, it was this one here where I actually was talking about Cardstarter. I think the price when I made this video, cards tokens were around $38, and then it dropped down to I think $16 or $20 right after I made the video. But now they're trading at about $66 or something like that, I think. Let me see. $65, yeah. But they allow you to get into new projects that are on the Cardano ecosystem, so I'm pretty bullish about this. All right, let's go back to some charts. Thanks a lot for your feedback. Elon Musk is a joke. Yeah, Elon Musk. I guess you have to accept that he really likes the spotlight, and everyone was really happy when he got into crypto, and now when he's taking sides and bashing Bitcoin, everyone hates him. I mean, like, he's a showman, so you have to just take it at face value. And the thing is, Elon Musk is basically the 2017 version of John McAfee. Yeah. Yeah. Gunter, do you think this dip will recover soon or will take a while? It's possible that it might take a week or two. It really depends on the amount of volume that we see here, how many people are actually buying and how the candles close. To be honest, this dip is probably a good place for people to accumulate that have been waiting on the sidelines. Always accumulate at your own discretion and make sure you don't invest too much. Dollar cost average, that's also the best way to average down your price if you bought in at the top. But yeah, I don't think it's the end of the bull run. I just think that we might be entering a slight phase of sideways movement, since over the last few weeks we actually had a massive price increase for most coins, for like ETH USD as well, breaking like above 4K, actually went all the way up to $4,635. So the markets always move like this, and it's something you just have to get used to. So yeah, sideways just means that we will have the market move a little bit up, a little bit down, not really moving a lot. It's just doing something like this. I think that's sideways. And then after, at some point, I believe the two courses of action, there's one that I favor more, and that is breaking above the previous highs of 4,400 and then going upwards. The bearish scenario would be breaking actually below into the cloud, and that would mean that we'll have a bit of a longer correction that might last 1 or 2 months, maybe even longer, don't know. So hopefully we stay above the cloud. Everything above the cloud means that we're actually in a bullish trend. We are in free fall at the moment, yes, but yeah, don't let the emotions take control of your actions. That's all that I can tell you. Yeah. So if we look at the weekly, it's actually looking pretty good. It's at a very important support level. It's at this blue support level of $2,681. That's on the weekly. Yeah, hopefully it can manage to keep up the momentum and close above that. Yeah, Mr. Diane, hopefully you're gonna survive that. It might be painful at the bit, but if you stay in long enough, it's gonna feel good. I don't know. Just don't panic. Just the beginning is bad. It seems like we hit the low, hopefully, on most of these, and now are moving to consolidation. Yeah, it's possible. I mean, like, it looks like the worst part has been is over, but we only realize that if we look at the 1 hour, the 4 hour, and so on, and see like clear indications of a reversal. So this is looking like a really nice candle. It really depends on the next candles, like how is this candle here going to close. If it's going to close in the red, it's possible that we dip even lower, maybe down to 2,400. It's not a clear reversal yet, and I also want a lot more volume coming in. So as soon as we've got these indications that the market is going to go back up, then the next thing that I want to see is like something like a double bottom, and that would be a very clear indication that the dip is completely over. But very often people will only realize that the dip is over after the price pumped another 30 or 50%. If we look at BTC USD support levels, it's actually looking pretty good. Let's have a look, because first of all, we zoom out on the monthly. It's actually looking like this. I would use the Fib retracement tool, and probably from here go all the way to the top. And these are like mathematical levels where there's a high probability of a bounce, and it looks like we're bouncing off of this 50% level. So the bottom would be 37,715. And if it doesn't manage to hold this level, the next support would be at $31,000. No one can say what will happen. Just relax and zoom out a bit. We'll all be fine later on. Market is shaking the trees, trying to make the week fall out. Very good point. I'm not trying and speculate and predict the future. I'm just looking at what the market is doing at the moment and showing you guys probably selling when the market tanked is probably not the best way to make a lot of money. When people are fearful, that's when you have to be greedy. We already went below 37.6. You have to see it like this. Going below is not the indicator of if it's holding the support and not. These candles, these actually, they indicate when the price starts and when it ends. And basically what I want to see is I want to see the price ending, so the candle close being above 37,000. If it dips below 37,000, doesn't really matter. What is really important is when the candle actually closes. But this is a monthly candle. A lot can happen. Really, a lot can happen. Here's an example of a monthly candle where that had like crazy amount of volatility in the matter of 1 month, and that was in March of 2020. You have to think about that like this. This candle actually went all the way up to 9,320 when $28, and in the matter of 1 month, it dropped all the way down to $3,717. Someone actually sold at the bottom, all at the bottom, and the price recovered and went all the way back up to 6,500. That was in the matter of 1 month. So in 1 month, a lot can happen. It's possible that it goes lower. It's possible that it goes back all the way up to 58,000. I mean, anything is possible. As long as the candle is not closed, a lot is possible. So if we look on the weekly, that's where the more midterm story is told. I was talking about the monthly, yeah. Here, this is the monthly candle. This is the weekly candle. Here, the support is again 35,000. We bounced off of that. So we're going to have to see in the weekly where we actually bounce off of. In the end, it's not like an exact science. You're not going to find the exact dollar where it's going to bounce. It's going to be a more or less rough estimation. And yeah, basically not doing anything is probably the best course of action. Not trying to time it. Doesn't really matter. You can't really influence the markets. If you've already bought, just forget about it and just wait. Nicholas Alderman, I need the bounce off or double bottom at 38k. If not, I buy in at 31k. Well, I mean, that's probably a good strategy. I mean, feel free to do that. 31k would probably be a pretty good entry if you manage to do that. Yeah. Remember, if you don't sell, you will not lose anything. Well, that's true. I mean, unless of course it goes to zero, but I don't believe that's going to happen anytime soon. There's a lot of people in the market. There's a lot of institutions in the market. Nicholas Alderman, I think a big problem is everyone is on margin. Yeah, when everything else fails, people just try and leverage long and do like 20, 50x leverage long, and they get liquidated really fast. Yeah. Scared money make no money. That's a very good saying, VT. Hold or sell? Please tell me. Well, first of all, I'm not your financial advisor. I have no clue how much you've got invested. I have no clue about your financial situation. I mean, like if you have to sell to pay off a debt, or I don't know, to buy a new kidney or something like that, then possibly selling might be the best scenario because you need that money. But if you don't really need the money, think about why did you enter into the market? Why did you actually buy different cryptocurrencies? Do you just want to like hold on to it for the short term, make a quick flip? Maybe cryptocurrency is not for you because the volatility is definitely something you're going to have to stomach, and not being able to handle these 30% drops, these 35% drops, then you don't deserve the 5x or 10x that come afterwards. Yeah. So yeah, I think you have to think about why you're in the market. Are you just in it to make money? Do you really like the idea of cryptocurrency changing the world, blah, 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 and stuff like that? Then yeah, I think you're gonna have to make this decision on your own. But I believe it's not the best idea to sell when the market is down by 30%. I don't think it's the best idea to sell when everyone is screaming sell, 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 because they're scared. And like a few people here in the chat have said, scared money doesn't make any money. So yeah, in the end, you're gonna have to make the decision for yourself. But think about if you're actually doing this decision because you don't like the technology, you don't like the idea behind it, or are you selling because your emotions are controlling your actions? So my wife and I came up with a 33 strategy. We are putting all cash aside from daily use and bills into BTC ETH and PLTR. That's a pretty good strategy. Very nicely diversified. Joe J, I'm going to uninstall Binance and crypto once I'm finished putting money in it, and I'm going to reinstall the app in 2 years from now. It will be a nice surprise. Joe J, believe me, you won't manage, I don't think you'll manage a week or so. You're probably going to deinstall Binance and crypto, and then after probably a few days, you're going to install it again and look at the charts. But yeah, not touching it is definitely a good idea, but I don't believe you're going to manage to stay away from different cryptocurrency tracking apps. Yeah, I think 100k BTC is still possible. There's nothing like stopping it. Just this minor dip is not really something that speaks against the fundamentals behind Bitcoin being a store of value. Now, of course, looking at different cryptocurrencies, I'm more bullish on several cryptocurrencies and a little bit less bullish on others. But all in all, I think most of the cryptocurrency space is going to thrive. I'm super bullish on for example, Ethereum and Cardano. Bitcoin, I think, is great. And it's also great as a store of value, but I do see that it having a bit less of a utility compared to Ethereum and Cardano and so on. So I've got a much higher allocation of my cryptocurrency funds into digital assets like ETH and Cardano. Kierin, have you heard of the week-off distribution method? This guy seems to have exposed the whales games. I actually looked at the video. Unfortunately, I didn't really have the time to comment back. Yeah, I'm familiar with Wyckoff, and It's not a surprise. I've already seen the manipulation in the markets, and it's definitely something that's happening over and over again. It might be interesting to make a video about it. I'm not as like familiar with the Rikov method that I could explain it really well in a video, but I've looked at it, and what I just want to say is, yeah, I mean, like the markets have been exploited by whales for the last few years. It's not a secret. You've got whales dumping Bitcoin and ETH and so on in order to liquidate other people that are over leveraged, and then at the same time having a short position. Very often when you've got different bullish formations, you're going to have whales dropping the price below a support to make people panic. And I think if you really want to succeed in the space, you just have to like tune out all of this noise, zoom out, and just think of it long term, dollar cost average when the markets are red, when the markets are down. And that's basically when you actually make money, by dollar cost averaging when other people are fearful. Don't leverage trade if you're not really familiar. I do leverage trade a little bit, but it's very often with a very small amount of my portfolio, and it's mostly for fun. I'm not always successful yet. Benny Faber, what about ETH? Yeah, I've got ETH. I'm pretty bullish on ETH. But yeah, the market at the moment is still pretty down. Let's see how it's gonna recover. Let's have a quick look again at ETH. I've already looked at ETH, but let's do it again. Otto Vaniek, keep them or sell. Like I said, I cannot give you an answer to your question. I cannot tell you what you should do if you finance it. I don't know if you like got 100K of ETH or BTC, or I can't really tell you how you should trade. I can only tell you what I would do and what I wouldn't sell. But I don't have any debt. I also am in like massively in the profit. I don't need the money that I've got in my cryptocurrency portfolio to like pay my bills. So if your situation is similar to mine, then I don't recommend selling. Going to best strategy. Yeah, buy low and sell high. Most people, they do the opposite. They buy high and sell low. Pretty awesome. So I'm gonna close this chat. But before I say, I feel like we've got a lot of stuff happening in the cryptocurrency space. So really don't get shaken out by this market, because for ETH, there's a lot of stuff happening in July. We've got the EIP 1559 update that's happening in July. This is going to be really bullish. For Cardano, you've got the smart contracts happening. For Bitcoin, you've got the Merkle root update happening. So a lot of bullish things are happening this summer. And yeah, I don't think that we're anywhere close to the top of this bull run. Marco Stevens, sorry, I must have missed that. Please, man, give your thoughts on VeChain. Let's have a look. That USD at the moment, I don't hold any VeChain. But let's have a look on the monthly. It's actually had a pretty nice rally. That USD. So what I do is I use the Fibonacci retracement, and then we can maybe look at where the support could be for that. And it looks like it's right on spot on the support at 11 cents. So yeah, let's hope it actually holds this support. 68%, 61% support. We're going to have to see how this closes in 12 days for the monthly. For the daily, it's looking a little bit bleak, but that's like with everything. So yeah, let's hope it actually manages to stay afloat at the 11 cents support. So depending on where you actually bought into VeChain, maybe consider accumulating some more at these levels at 10 cents, and the next support is probably going to be somewhere around 6 cents, 7 cents. So in this range is probably a good place to accumulate. Let me draw a box for you. Something like this. It's probably a good, probably a good range to accumulate. Between 6 cents and 11 cents. Joseph, do you think that more environmentally friendly cryptos will come back stronger than BTC? I think this is a pretty interesting question. And I actually believe that the Bitcoin dominance over the next few years is going to drop more and more as more smart contract blockchains take over. And it's not just about the environmental impact of Bitcoin, because I don't really agree too much with that philosophy, as Bitcoin does use a lot of green energy. However, I follow more the philosophy that Bitcoin is a single-use asset. It's got one purpose, and that is as a store of value, as gold 2.0. Now, with the emergence of more smart contract blockchains like Ethereum, with the DeFi space that's thriving on top of it, then you've also got Solana, you've got Avalanche, you've got Cardano that's coming up. Those are multi-purpose blockchains. With the smart contracts, that you can do a lot more with your finances. You can start trading, you can use a decentralized bank on top of that. And because it's got way more purpose, I believe they will also increase more and more in value, and that in relation to Bitcoin. So in the long run, I believe even though the value of BTC will go up, I don't think the Bitcoin dominance will be the same as it was like 1 or 2 years ago, where it was like super high. Yeah. So that was it. That was it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. And yeah, don't do anything stupid during this correction. Just close your apps and go for a walk. Spend some time outside, and I'll catch you in the next video. Have a good one. Bye-bye.